Hi again, everybody. I am Terry Vanderbeck with Sanford Sports. Welcome back to the Sanford Pentagon. It is semifinal Monday, 2021 Summit League Basketball Championships. I'm joined this morning, as always, by Mr. David Brown of Mako Sports Network. David, how you doing?
Good. We have awesome matchups here today.
We really do. Let's just dive right in. 4 games again today. Probably the most fun day of the tournament because of what it means and what's at stake. The women will take center stage first. Game 1 is the Cinderella game. You've got number 8 Omaha versus number 5 Western Illinois. The first 8 ever to make it to the semifinals, coming off that shocker over number 21 ranked, not seeded, South Dakota State. These two teams split in Omaha the weekend of Feb 6 and 7. Western won the second game, and they are undefeated since at 4-0 and well rested because they had some games called off. Meanwhile, Omaha, for having a grand total of 6 wins, they've won 4 of their last 5. So you talk about getting hot at the right time. That's where we're at with these two teams.
Absolutely, and this is the only matchup that has the 2 underdogs in it. Everything else was chalk for both the NDSU USD women's game and obviously all of our men's semifinals. But you mentioned the regular season matchups. The first one was a 105-102 double OT victory for Omaha. But in that game, Grace Gilmore for Western, career high 46 points. So these two have played close games in the past, and now, as you said, one of them is going to be a Cinderella and reach the tournament championship.
Cue all the Gilmore Girl references, right?
Yes.
I don't have any
Rory,
make,
everything.
Okay.
My wife loves Gilmore Girls, so that's the only reason I know.
Likely
that's
story,
the only
Brownie,
reason I know it.
Sure. The second, no judgments here. The second women's semifinal of the day is more expected, and yet certainly some intrigue. Number 2, South Dakota, the defending champion in this tournament, taking on North Dakota State, which I think we would all agree this is probably the best team they've had since joining the Summit League. They've been a 3 seed one other time, but I don't know if that team was quite at the level this team is. Again, these two teams met not very long ago in Vermillion. USD swept, but the first of those 2 games was an 82-81 decision, and NDSU had a shot late to win the game.
Yeah, USD needed a late free throw from Hannah Sherman to win that game with less than a second to go. But it's interesting, Jory Collins in the post-game interviews that we had yesterday said they left Vermillion despite going 0-2 with confidence. They know they can hang with USD. And as you mentioned, this is easily NDSU's best team since joining the Summit League more than a decade ago. They got a real shot. They got depth, they got balance. USD, of course, though, has the big 3 of Shervin and Corn Gable and Lamb. If they can find a way to stop Shervin in the post, I think that's the key matchup, just because Shervin's size causes nightmare headaches for everyone. So if NDSU can limit her, they have a shot.
And this is the first game of the day where the lack of fans in the building comes into play. Otherwise, there'll be a lot of red, and there won't be. So it's an opportunity for North Dakota State maybe to steal one without the disadvantage of that home state crowd. Switching gears to the men's side, as you said, all chalk. And we knew, I think, coming in due to the injuries and all the nuance of the season that these 4 were probably the best 4. And here we are in the semifinals. The first one, 5:45 p.m. Top seeded South Dakota State, having sort of finally shed their couple-year-long quarterfinal funk, is into the semis against Oral Roberts. And the top scorer in the country, Max Asmus.
Yes.
I had a lot of questions yesterday about that.
It's in their media guide, so trust us. I made a joke yesterday. He's like Giannis Antetokounmpo. When you're good enough, you learn how to pronounce his name.
I learned yesterday, so apologies for the Abmas. It really does look like that.
It's A-B-M-A-S. You wouldn't think Asmus, but yes, we have been told numerous times it is Asmus.
Yeah, so whatever, Max.
Yes.
We'll go with Max.
We'll go with Max.
Top scorer in the country. ORU won yesterday despite him not in his best game of the year. It was actually technically below average. He only scored 22, but the DJ Weaver came up huge for ORU, and they're a scary team because of some of the pieces they have.
Absolutely. So Asmus, as you mentioned, scores 22. He leads all scorers. But it was his first game this season without a 3-pointer. So UND did a good job on him from the perimeter. But as you mentioned, DJ Weaver, Deshang Weaver, whatever you want to call him, season high 18 points off the bench. If they can get someone besides Asmus and besides O'Banner to step up for them, that's going to cause problems for the Jackrabbits. Then if you're SDSU, Douglas Wilson's playing his best basketball of the season. Baylor Shireman, he almost had a triple-double. He was 3 assists away from a triple-double in their quarterfinal win over Omaha. The Wilson versus O'Banner matchup in the post is going to be excellent. The key is who is going to guard Asmus. Is it going to be Shireman? Is it going to be Alex Arians? Who's going to take on that challenge? Because Asmus had a career high 42 against SDSU earlier this season.
Oof. And he's the Summit League Allen Iverson. He's a little guy, pretty thin. Floaters, long range. He's fun to watch. And then the last game of the night, good old Dakota showdown here. We've got second seeded USD coming off really a pretty impressive win for all the questions around how they would look without AJ Plitzowhite, who's lost due to injury, against North Dakota State, who for about 2.5 segments last night looked incredible. And then really kind of struggled to the finish line. Now, Coach Dave Richmond said, we're not going to apologize for being up 20 and only winning by 2, but certainly they got a scare late yesterday after looking like they were going to completely roll.
Absolutely. NDSU was up 22 with 14 minutes left, and at the very end, Kansas City has a chance to tie. NDSU puts it away late, but I think that's a bit of a wake-up call if you're the Bison. Like, look, we cannot play this way again. We can't have this 5, 6, 7-minute stretch where we just don't score and have this lull. They have so much depth on their team. It's honestly surprising they can have those kinds of stretches. And if you're South Dakota, you're right. They found out how to play without AJ Plitzowhite. The prevailing thought, Stanley Amuda needs to score 35, 40 points. He only scored 24. Took 16 shots to do it. He was efficient. If they can get guys like Xavier Fuller, Tassos Cometeros involved early, that will test their depth and also test NDSU's depth. Should be a great match, but that is our last semifinal today. A great way to end today.
And that will be their 4th meeting of the season.
Yes, Dakota Showcase.
They met in this building on this floor in early December. North Dakota State won that game. At that point, USD was winless. We probably would have projected where they'd be today. And they played just last weekend at Vermillion. They split, and that was when Plitzowhite got hurt. So USD won the first game, NDSU won the second. That's really good stuff. Players are filing in. There's the horn. That's our hook. Time to go. Again, you guys can watch all of the games today on Midco Sportsnet. Both the games, the pregame, the halftime, the postgame.
We got it all.
David Brown and Freddie Coleman, who we'll have some words with later today as well. We did a fun biological experiment.
You were showing me the heart monitor.
So we'll see what things we learned there about stress in sports. So, David, thank you as always. You guys enjoy the games. We'll be back tomorrow.